Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy Arner if you're new here, and I am a wife and a mom of 2 boys under the age of 3. And I want to share with you today 5 things that have helped me to become a happier and more fulfilled mom. This is something that I have avoided talking about for a long time because truly I've been afraid that this will be misconstrued that I don't love my children. Contrary to what many believe, I really struggled with adjusting to motherhood. And don't get me wrong, I wanted to be a mother. I have dreamed of becoming a mother for my entire life. So it was really hard and shocking to me that when I finally became a mother, that I had so much resistance to what the role actually entailed. Although I was a nurse and I had a career of taking care of others, I found that when it came to motherhood, that all of that outpouring of energy seemed to pile up and overwhelm me to a point of burnout and resentment towards my role in the home, towards my role as a wife, my role as a mom. And it took me a really long time to really understand the danger and the negative effects that avoiding those feelings was really causing, not only in my physical health and my mental health, but in my marriage and in my home. It is my strong belief that the role as a mother has nothing to do with your love for your children. Being a mother is a job. It is a calling. It is a life commitment. And I further believe that we each have our own purpose in this life, in our journey of motherhood. And I really believe acknowledging my struggle in motherhood and facing where that struggle was coming from has helped me become more clear on my purpose. It has helped me fall more in love with myself and what it is I am here to do with my time here on this earth. So I am really hopeful and excited to share with you some of the things that have helped me on that journey to become a happier mother, and not just happier, but more solidified in my role as a mother and as a wife and a homemaker, to feel that fulfillment that I know that we all desire and crave. Before I dive in, I want you to know that if you've been struggling in motherhood, if you have been battling feelings of resentment and burnout, you're feeling lost and alone and you don't know where to turn, that you are not alone. And I hope by the end of this video that you start to see all of your struggle as part of your strength. By you doing this work, by you addressing where it is that you are feeling unfulfilled and unhappy, you are going to raise your entire family up and become a leader of strength and courage and resilience. So with that said, let's dive in. The first thing that helped me become a happier mom was deciding to value my role instead of resenting it. I had to make that choice. A year into my motherhood journey, I found myself battling with postpartum depression and on the verge of divorce with my husband. My husband and I separated, and my son and I were living with my parents, and I truly was so scared of what the future held. When I was faced with the reality that I could be a single parent, that I could be facing this motherhood journey alone, I had to decide that I was valuable. I had to decide that I was worth feeling strong and capable and worthy in my role as a wife and a mother and a homemaker. I had to decide that my worth didn't lie outside of me and what I provided for my family, the money that I provided, outcomes that I created, whether that's a clean home and meals on the table. I had to decide in that moment that I was worthy of love and that what I did and who I was and who I was being was enough. When I made that decision, I finally decided to value my role as a mother. I immediately started to feel the weight on my shoulders begin to lift because I no longer felt like I was resisting who I was. I was a mom. I was a mom. I was the mother of a beautiful baby boy, and I was a wife. I chose this path, and it was up to me to change my experience within it. The second thing that really helped me was decluttering my life. I really had to ask myself, what do I want to feel in my days as a mom? Do I want to feel like I'm running around from thing to thing, from room to room, constantly cleaning, constantly feeling like I'm never going to get my head above water, that I'm never allowed to rest? What I realized was that I didn't want it to revolve around things. I wanted it to revolve around feeling, a feeling of hominess, a feeling of calm, a feeling of peace. And what I realized was that the more things that I had, the more I had on my to-do list, the more things I had to keep track of, the more decisions I had to make. One of the things that really helped me was to just slowly but surely start decluttering my life. I did this from room to room, from thing to thing. As it came up in my mind, I addressed it. I realized that if it didn't have a purpose and a function in my home, then it didn't belong here, and I didn't need to worry about it. I didn't need to add that onto my list of things that I'm in charge of as a homemaker. Because as you know, as a mother, as a wife, as a homemaker, that list is long enough already. It is our job to make our lives easier and to address where it is that we are feeling stressed and overwhelmed. The third thing that was really important for me was to decide that I trusted my own intuitive guidance. I trusted my intuition above all. I had to decide to tune out the noise. I got really ruthless about who I was following on social media, about how I was spending my time. Where was my mind going? Was my mind consumed with thoughts of what other people were doing, of what I was lacking? Every time I caught myself in those types of thoughts, I brought myself back to me, grounding myself in here and now and in myself. And I asked myself, what is it that I really want? What is it that I really need? Oftentimes the worry and the anxiety that I was feeling immediately started to go away because I realized that I didn't want what those people had. I didn't want to feel like I was on some rat race, constantly trying to achieve and succeed. I didn't want to go work outside of the home. I didn't want to go back to that feeling that I needed to constantly earn my ability to just be. I wanted to be comfortable in my being. I wanted to feel like I was enough, and that meant that I had to stop feeding off of outside influence and reconnecting to my own intuition, reconnecting to my connection to spirit. My biggest tip is that if you find yourself getting lost in anxious thoughts and comparison, that when you catch yourself in those moments, that you step away, and you go outside for 5 minutes, or you close your eyes and you take some deep breaths and you set your declaration that you are releasing all energy that is not yours, and that you ask Spirit, God, your angels to help guide you of what is the next right move for you. Ask for a sign. And the more that I did this, the more connected and supported I felt, and the more I began to trust that I was on my own path. If God led me here, then I am exactly where I need to be. And He knows what's of the highest good and the highest good of all and the highest good of my family. And I have to trust that if those other pathways didn't feel true for me, there's something better. That's not where I'm meant to be. And so that really just gave me so much peace and, allowing myself to just be where I am. That when I'm meant to make a move or make a decision or change something, I am going to be guided into doing so, and I will know when that time is. The fourth thing that helped me become a happier mom was I started focusing on growing and learning in my role as a mother. I have to admit, when I became a mom, I think part of the reason why I struggled so much is I thought that I would just know what to do. I thought that I would just know everything. And I think what's so important as mothers is to encourage one another and opening ourselves up to being students again, to acknowledging that we're never going to have all the answers. I didn't have all the answers, and I had to realize that that was okay. I don't need to have all the answers. I decided that I was going to learn as much as I could about motherhood, to learn from women that had gone through it before me. I think in our culture today, it's so easy for us to just feel like we have to go it alone. It's like we're all on our own life raft and we just have to sink or swim. But what I feel like I've learned is that I am a much better mom when I surround myself with other mothers. When I connect my life raft with other mothers and their life rafts and we learn from one another, I become such a better equipped mother when I surround myself with other like-minded mothers. I started to realize that part of my journey here in motherhood is to grow, is to learn, to do better than perhaps the last generation, to do better than I did in my own childhood. So I had to acknowledge what I didn't know and open myself up to ways and opportunities for me to start learning how I could change my experience in motherhood, my journey in my role as a wife and homemaker. And the last thing that has helped me become a happier and more fulfilled mom is I started to treat my home like a haven and me as its steward. This is something that I learned from a book called The Mission of Motherhood by Sally Clarkson. In that book, she talks all about how part of our role as mothers is to recognize that we are the steward of our families, that we are the steward of our home and our children, and nurturing their spirits, nurturing their journey into adulthood. How the more that she started to look at her home as a living, breathing thing, as her favorite place in the world, the easier it became to do the more mundane tasks that we do day in and day out, like cleaning and doing the dishes and cooking meals and doing the laundry and putting it away. And the more I think of my home as my haven, as my family's haven, the more proud I feel, the more empowered I feel in my job and in my role to be the protector of that haven, of taking care of this place that we congregate and play and rest and recharge, and that we are going to grow not only as individuals but as a family. And I think that in and of itself has just helped me become fulfilled in my role as a homemaker. So my love, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it inspires you. I hope it encourages you. And I hope that you know, whether you are a to-be mom or a new mom or a seasoned mom, that it is never too late to change your experience in motherhood. It's never too late to change your experience with your children, with your spouse, with your home. And I hope that you will join me as I continue to share more about what I'm learning in my own journey, and you tie your life raft to mine and we go forward on this journey together. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I put out a new video on motherhood, homemaking, intentional living every single week. Until next time, bye.